In this video, I'm going to give you an insight into what caused this sudden surge inside not only the stock market, but also the crypto market, the key charts that you need to look at, and how you can play the upcoming price volatility. Let's run the numbers. Just doing a quick catch up on the news. And hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. We've seen that JP Morgan has raised the odds of a US recession by the end of the year to 35%. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back, KS family. We've seen that Bitcoin has responded to that news with a rally of its own. A big factor that influenced risk-on activity was Iran didn't do a military response when they said they were going to. And currently we can see the air traffic around Iran and Israel, and also Egypt and Iraq, just coming back. But we need to be aware this is a very fluid situation and it could escalate very quickly at any time. In other news, Putin legalizes crypto mining in Russia. The markets have been very volatile of late. With the VIX coming down, we saw a huge spike up in Bitcoin. The VIX and the intercorrelation between markets causes all markets to move. If you're looking at crypto-specific reasons for crypto moving up, you've got too narrow a focus. Right now, the major focus should be on the VIX. If the VIX is coming down, expect Bitcoin to absolutely skyrocket. And of course, if Bitcoin as a risk-on asset class is exploding upwards, we expect exactly the same thing to happen inside the main markets. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Hence, if Bitcoin is going up, guess what's happening to Ethereum? Here we can see Ethereum moving up, and that blue line behind is Bitcoin's price. What about Solana? When Bitcoin puts in a rally, what's happening to Solana? It's putting in a rally as well. What about Binance Coin? Yes, sirree, that's exactly right. And on the news of XRP winning their court case, we saw XRP just exploding, but now it's flatlined. Looking at Dogecoin and comparing the movements of Bitcoin into Dogecoin, you can see if Bitcoin, that blue line, comes down, Doge is coming down. If Bitcoin comes up, Doge is coming up. What about ADA, Cardano? If Bitcoin is coming down, ADA is coming down. If Bitcoin is rallying, ADA is rallying. You get the idea. It's so incredibly important to look at Bitcoin structural levels. I'd like to give you a better insight into how the VIX relates to the market, especially the crypto market. Here we can see the VIX in red, and this is total crypto market cap. So this is literally the entire crypto market cap capitalization. When the VIX was coming down, note what was happening to total crypto market cap. When the VIX plummeted down at that exact point, all of the crypto market went nuts. Now, a lot of people have trouble looking at inverted relationships. So what I'm going to do is invert this scale to show you how it is more clear from an inversion perspective. Now, one thing to note, this is on a 5-minute scale, and you can see that the inverted VIX is very predictive of where Bitcoin could be going. If the inverted VIX is coming up, expect crypto and the stock market to be joining it. If the inverted VIX is coming down, expect that as well. Masterclass students, please refer to TM6 and make sure that you look at this particular chart every single day. When we see the VIX just dropping off a cliff, we can expect crypto and the stock market to go parabolically up. Please keep that in mind. And if Bitcoin goes up, we know all the alts are going to go up with it. So this is why it's so important to look at the VIX, total crypto market cap, and Bitcoin, especially from a structural perspective. A bit of a cheat sheet that you can use. If the futures are coming up, we expect the VIX to be going down in the background. So this is a way that you can gauge an idea of what's happening with the volatility inside the main markets. And the main market volatility will indeed impact everything, including crypto. Bitcoin is that blue line behind the Dow, behind the Russell, behind the Nasdaq, and behind the S&P 500. What caused the VIX to spike up recently was the potential unwinding of the Japanese carry trade by the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan intervened the very next day and said, hey guys, don't worry about it, we won't raise interest rates, which brought a lot of fear out of the market. That action just had the markets going a little bit nuts because the Bank of Japan, if it raised interest rates, would actually derail global growth everywhere. And I just put out a post on X and saying, no matter what happens, structure is your guide to the truth of price. What primarily decreased the amount of fear inside the main markets was Iran didn't strike Israel as it had promised to do. This brought a lot of fear outside the main markets. It just evaporated, and the S&P 500 rose 2.3% in the biggest one-day gain since November 2022 because Iran didn't attack Israel. One thing that's important to note, this fractal that we placed here was the VIX and how it performed in the March 2020 crash, which was the C19 crash. Just take a note that even though we came up more, we're still following that particular step up at the current time. If we start to diverge from it, that's of course what we want, but we have to bear in mind the market's truth is the market's truth. The real question is, how do we trade and invest in this truth where things are getting really volatile? People have very short memories. As soon as something goes really, really red, they run out of the market, and when it becomes really, really green, they run back into the market, only to see it go red again. So please be aware, you need to look more consistently. Now, how do we overcome the fear of going in and entering a position or exiting a position? We need to look at structure. And that's exactly what this piece on tweet on Twitter was about. No matter what happens, structure is your guide to the truth of price. As we look at total crypto market cap, when the VIX declined and the inverted VIX increased quite substantially, we broke through a structural level just a little above the $2 trillion mark. In terms of total crypto market cap, we came through this positive fresh air gap, and please note this is on the 5-minute chart, but we came up into an area of structural resistance at that $2.053 trillion level, and there was a lower structural support level of $2.042 trillion. How it works is really straightforward and very simple. If you get above a structural resistance line and manage to convert it into support by getting these particular patterns, which are the lows getting higher and higher each time, trying to squeeze all the shorts above resistance. When that happens, especially if you have a positive fresh air gap, you can get explosive moves. Let's actually see what happened. We got a very explosive move up to another level of structural resistance, and you can see it's been pinging it. People are very optimistic at the current time, but this structure, even on a 5-minute chart, works wonders. You can see where price is being restrained and where it's being supported all the way through. And we're currently at $2.133 trillion inside the crypto market capitalization. From a bullish stance, the bulls will seek to take out this once resistance level and seek to convert it into support. That's slightly above 2.21 trillion and coincides with this area back on the 3rd. But the bears will seek to push total crypto market cap back to around the $2 trillion mark. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? What is the potential position? Are we going up to the 2.22 or down to the 2? When we look at Bitcoin, we can see that we came through that level of structural resistance just above the 58,610 mark. There was a positive fresh air gap. This is on the 15-minute chart, and we moved up very quickly into that just below, well, just around 59,500. Then that positive fresh air gap, and we just played with structure here, making our way higher. And then that positive fresh air gap got filled. A lot of time, people don't know why price moves up so quickly. It's because of these positive fresh air gaps. But just be aware, a positive fresh air gap can turn into a negative fresh air gap. A negative fresh air gap can turn into a positive fresh air gap as well. They're periods and areas of a lot of market volatility, so just please be aware of how price can act in these specific areas. And all you really need to do is just look at how structure is interacting with price to get a much better comprehension as to where price is going. A lot of people inside our community use these indicators, for example the Bitcoin indicator on the 1-minute chart, and I actually find it quite interesting to look at. You can see this 59,580 mark had positive fresh air and it was confirming as support. And when we see what total crypto market cap was doing at the same time, it gave us some very interesting entries and very interesting price behavior. You can see how well respected these structural levels are. And when they start to break out, especially as there's a lot of positive and bullish momentum at the current time, they can fill these positive fresh air gaps very quickly. Your key is to simply know where these structural levels are and just to observe price in its natural environment, just like you would look at an animal in the wild, because price is indeed an animal, but it does have fences, and when you know where those fences are, things become a lot easier. Please let me know in the comments, do you have a bearish bias or a bullish bias for Bitcoin? And Bitcoin is currently 62,386. Looking at total crypto market cap and Bitcoin, especially on the structural levels, everything is structurally dependent. And then you apply it to your specific chart that you're putting money into. Let's have a look at Solana's price levels and pop on the indicator. Solana is currently 162.03. Popping on the indicator, what do we see here? There's a massive amount of structural overhead resistance at that 170 level. We've seen Solana, of course, come up with Bitcoin and total crypto market cap. You remember how total and Bitcoin flatlined for a degree of time and then started to break out. We've seen Solana do exactly the same thing. If you want to know where Solana is going, look at total crypto market cap and look at Bitcoin. If we find that Solana comes back and retest that 160, it could make its way up to the 170. But if it starts to fail the 160 and starts to fail the 158.50, it's moving back to around 153. So please bear these things in mind. You can see it literally doesn't matter whether the market is bearish or whether the market is bullish. Structure always plays in to account. And if you know where the structure is, you have that X-ray vision, and that's far better than guessing. What we really want to see inside the crypto market and the stock market is that the VIX just starts to break down away from this price path, which is the fractal from the March 2020 crash. We don't want to see the VIX spiking up because we know that that will put lower structural levels into play on Bitcoin total and whatever you're trading or investing in. But if we see the VIX starting to go down, well, that's fantastic. That will put upper structural levels of resistance into play inside the charts. But the key is you need to know where they are. If you would like to gain the structural levels over any of the Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 charts, they're available from ctksmethod.org. And if you haven't already, please just pop across there and sign up for the newsletter, which is coming soon. And if you would like to see examples of trades that I've shared on YouTube, you can just scroll down the page a little bit more. To our community, it really doesn't matter where price is going. We just use CTKS structure as the way to interpret if price is coming into support or if it's coming out of support and into resistance. And that's all we need to do. Just get your X-ray vision on the markets. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.